opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live. 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week, we talk about something that might be able to help you to make or save some money, and sometimes it's just how to get along in business to be able to navigate this crazy world. So tonight, what I thought would be great is that everybody always says to me, you know, Laura, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. Well, I don't really think it's luck. I really do think it's just hard work. So tonight, I have one of my peers that is out of Boston. So if you are looking for real estate in Boston, definitely give David a call. So tonight we have David Lauder, and I hope I said that right. And he is a realtor in Boston. And we're going to take a man's perspective tonight, and we're going to take another night of a woman's perspective on what did I sacrifice to become successful. So welcome, David. Hi, David.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for having me. I think it's wonderful that we're having this conversation because it's a very interesting topic.
It is a very interesting topic, and so basically, I think everybody does something different, and you and I had a conversation the other day, and your perspective of what you sacrifice is completely different than mine. So for me, and again, I want to use a totally different woman for me, and I'll do that in another show, but for me, I feel like I sacrificed my family, my children, my presence in people's lives, my focus, my attention. So talking with you as a male, I felt that that was actually different. And I actually wonder what your wife would think, you know, about what she's felt you sacrificed. But the way I felt like when we conversated the other day, it was a little different. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do to sacrifice?
Yeah, so I think from the very beginning, it was a big risk or a big sacrifice coming into the business, coming from a stable salary. And when I first came in the business, the timing was very risky and required a lot of sacrifice because my wife and I, we just found out that we were expecting our first child. So you can imagine, you know, as all parents know, that feeling, like that overwhelming sense of responsibility to provide for this, you know, new baby that you're about to bring in the world. And at the same time, that burning desire to provide an even better life for that, you know, future child than what you currently have. So I approached my fiance, who's now my wife, and I said, you know, honey, I think I'm ready to make the move into real estate, but what do you think? And I really didn't know what she would. We were on a baby moon in the Dominican Republic, by the way, sitting on the beach, and I still remember this moment as like it was 5 minutes ago. And she said, if you're going to do it now, with this sense of confidence and conviction that just lit a fire inside of me. And so making that move into real estate full time, right when we found out we were expecting our first child, required a significant amount of sacrifice initially.
When you first found out, though, that you were going to have a baby and you decided that you were going to go and make this huge change, which now you're one of the top agents in the world for RE/MAX, right? When you decided to make that, decided to make that change, did you almost say, you know what? Oh my God, now we're having a baby. Never mind, forget it. I don't want to do this. I mean, did you have any like second thoughts?
You know, I feel like every really successful person in the world in any industry made that choice, that intentional choice to jump, to make that risk in whatever they were doing before making more money. A lot of people will never take that risk. They never will. Doesn't matter. They don't have the personality or the confidence to go from making whatever amount of money, you name the dollar, 70,000, 80,000, 100,000, 120,000, to making nothing unless you sell a house. So, whether it's real estate, any sales position, everybody that's super successful, they all took that big risk and they left whatever they had before, that stable income, and jumped in head first, knowing that they might fall flat on their face.
Can you tell our audience what you made your first year in real estate?
I made $17,000, $17,000 in my first 12 months.
And can you tell our audience what you were making before and right as you were getting ready to quit, what they were going to pay you before you quit your job?
I was making about $80,000 and I was about to be offered a store. I was like the operations manager and I was about to become the store manager. I would have been increasing to about 130,000 within a year.
And you had benefits.
Full benefits, 401k. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on where you're at because David's out of Boston, right? And in Florida, we're having big talks, and obviously we know Remax just had some kind of settlement. Are they trying to get rid of buyer's agents in Boston? And what would you tell somebody that's looking to sacrifice and make changes and become an agent in today's market? Besides, I know they say list to last, but let's say that you don't want to have at first the listings and the expenses that go with listings, and you wanted to be a buyer's agent. What would you tell everyone out there that's thinking about making that change?
The biggest thing is they have to set themselves up to give them a chance to succeed. And what I mean by that is, according to the National Association of Realtors, for example, 87% of realtors that get their license this year will not be working in real estate 5 years from now. 87%. And a big part of that reason is because the strong majority of people don't properly plan to make the move. I didn't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to make the move into real estate. I put a lot of thought into it. I partnered with she was my fiance, not my wife. And we planned it out. It was about probably a 2-year transition plan. And then we pulled the plug. And when we came back from the Dominican Republic, I put my 2-week notice on my boss's desk and I went in full time into real estate in that moment. But it was planned. So we made sure we actually purchased a multifamily home together. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad in college. If anybody hasn't read it, that book completely changed my life. It changed my personal philosophy on how to build wealth. And so once I read that book, I decided I wanted to purchase a multifamily home, invest my money into to start earning passive income. So we ended up purchasing a 4-family home while I was still working in retail management. I learned all about the landlord-tenant screening process, filled the other 3 units. And the reason why we purchased the 4-unit, I had shopped for like 6 to 8 months. This was back in like end of 2010, going into 2011 when there was tons of inventory. I was really selective. I was actually shopping for a 3-unit. I stumbled across the 4-unit that was similar prices as the 3s, but the significant difference with the 4-unit meant that I could live there for free once I filled the other 3, versus if I bought a 3 and I only had 2 incomes, I'd still be paying out every month. So we actually purchased that 4-family together. I filled all the units, and then my bank accounts, our bank account, my wife and I's bank accounts, slowly started to go in the other direction. And she said, "Wow, you seem really good at this. Why don't you take the real estate exam?" And that's when I was working at retail management. And then we, ended up finding we were respecting, and we had planned it out. And so I set myself up for success so that if I didn't, make momentum in the first 6 months, the first 9 months, I didn't have to quit. I gave myself a chance. I gave myself more time because I approached it from a smart position financially to give myself a chance to succeed. And that's exactly the extra time that I needed to succeed. Because if I didn't plan properly, going back to your point, if I didn't plan properly and I only had 6 months, maybe 8 months to sell a couple of houses, I would have had to leave just like everybody else does. Again, 87% of agents that get their license this year will not be practicing in 5 years. And that's because they don't properly plan to make that move.
Totally true, and I totally agree. And you know what? Your support system is number one. Like for me, my husband was my boyfriend, and he was my support system to tell me to quit. Where I have a master's degree, I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and he's like, quit your job and do what you love. And I did that. So you know what? We're going to go to commercial break. But when we come back, I actually want to digress just a little bit off the subject because you kind of piqued my interest to let our audience in Florida know a little bit different on how your investments are versus ours. And does it make sense for some of our customers to take their money over to you? So when we come back from some of our amazing sponsors, I just want to pick your brain about your market and see if it's a good fit for some of our clients. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. So we have our guest, David. He is a top RE/MAX agent just like myself. So if you do need a realtor in Florida and you're thinking about remodeling your house, I've got some doozies for you. But I want to welcome back David, and I want to pick David's brain to know, maybe I should be buying something in Boston. I mean, my husband would love that, but maybe I should buy something in Boston. So what is your market like? Does it make sense to buy a duplex, a fourplex? Are they cash cows? Are they, I call them lost properties where they don't make any money? Like, what's your taxes like, your insurance like? These are questions I think Floridians have.
Yeah, so the greater Boston market, it's mostly, the benefit is more on the appreciation side right now. The cash flow is not great on most investment properties, but if you're really strategic about the location, public transportation, crunch the numbers, the cap rate on a solid investment might be like 5%, which I know is very low compared to other parts of the country, but the appreciation that you can, the equity, the appreciation that you can gain kind of makes up for, if you compare it, trying to compare the overall value proposition to another area of the country that might have a higher cash flow, they're not gaining the appreciation that we're gaining. The property that I purchased in 2011, which obviously was a much different market back then, I bought it when it was on the market for 100 days. I purchased it for $420,500 with a $37,000 renovation, 2 or 3 can renovation loan. So I was all in for like $458 or $460, and now I could sell it today for probably like 1.25, 1.3, something like that. So that's just pure appreciation, you know.
That's amazing. Are your taxes about 1%, 1.5%, 2% of the sales price typically for, let's say, a non-resident?
Taxes, if it's like, let's say if it's a $1 million 2 or 3 family home, the taxes are probably going to be somewhere between 10 to 13,000 ish.
Okay, so it sounds like you're somewhere around 1.3, where we're about 2%. So your buying power typically, like interest rates are going to be 7% or I'm sorry, 8% today, right? Whether I'm in Boston or I'm in Florida. And taxes, so, you know, I don't think you've had any hurricanes coming through, maybe snowstorms, but not hurricanes. So what would you say the percentage of the property is insurance? Like, would it be 1.25%?
So we don't have that much of a focus on that in the where I do the majority of my business in Greater Boston area. It's not something that we really have to measure that closely.
It's a big
Like
deal
there's
here.
some areas that have flood insurance, but like Revere Beach is on the water.
But what would a flood policy cost typically? I mean,
yep. So it depends on the flood zone that it's in, the risk level. It could be anywhere from 2,000 to 3,200-ish ballpark on most of the properties that I've seen.
so basically what I'm hearing, and just so you know, the biggest problem, you know, we have sunshine. We have sunshine and you're paying for that sunshine. And what you're telling me makes it so much more affordable. Our insurance on a $500,000 home can be $6,000 a year. And then our taxes on that without homestead is going to be almost another $11,500. So not that I'm trying to tell people not to buy here. I want you to buy here. I want you to sell here. But, you know, listen, if I can refer out a client to you, I'm telling my audience, give me a call. I'd love to send you over to David, get you to buy something in the Greater Boston area, because obviously diversification. Do you manage properties, and do you guys have a lot of Airbnbs?
There are a lot of Airbnbs in the, you know, more coastal areas, some in the city. Not so much in the you know, bedroom communities, the suburban communities, but I own 5 properties myself. I manage them all myself. After coming back from Elite, I don't know if you saw some of our colleagues there talking. I'm thinking about possibly looking into a property management business a little bit further, but I haven't made a decision on that yet. But I'm well versed in property management. I own the 5 properties that we have. One of the properties I have is on Cape Cod, and we verbo that, seasonal short-term rental.
Oh, well, send me the link, because I'm definitely interested. Like,
awesome. I'll hook you up.
No, send me the link. I'm serious. I definitely need to go to Cape Cod, and definitely want to network with my fellow RE/MAX agents. So
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you end up going up, I'll give you the week for free.
Oh, I appreciate that. You said a week? I can't take off a week. I can't take off 5 days. But I've never been to Cape Cod, and it is on my bucket list with my husband. But I will say that sounds like your wife's amazing. Sounds like you've had great support. And I think that in the end, what we're telling everybody is that if you want to become an amazing agent, you have to have a plan. And it sounds like you had a plan. And a lot of people come into, this is what cracks me up as I'm frozen on the screen. What cracks me up is that somebody will go open a business, and they're not going to have a year of reserves. So I tell people, being a realtor is like opening a pizza place. If you don't have a couple of years of reserves, you're going out of business. It takes time to break even. You said it, 17,000. I got super lucky my first year. I will say it was luck. That was luck. I mean, I worked hard, but I just, back when I started, which was before you, people put pictures in the MLS upside down. Nobody interviewed anybody. You got to tell me, because here we go against 4 agents for an interview. I'm like, what is it that you're looking for in an agent? You want the most money for your home. You want to make sure it's going to close. And you want somebody that's going to answer their phone, because I don't know, Floridians don't answer their phones. So, I mean, you tell me, like I said, you know, it sounds like to me that you just had the best partner ever to make sure, as did I. But as a woman, it sounds like to me that you're better at making sure that I heard your kids in the back of the car, and you're still a top agent, and you were taking your kids to school. And I took my kids when they were little to school, but now my husband works from home and he's very supportive, and it's very hard to be at the top without being obsessed. And I think I mentioned to you the way I relate this, and I think you might agree, it's kind of like heroin, right? The more you have, the more you want, and I want to be the best at what I do. So, and
yeah, I mean, one of the things I want to share is how you mentioned that your husband encouraged you to do something that you love to do. And that's so powerful, because I felt like I was missing something in retail management. So like when I heard you say that your husband gave you that advice, that's something that we should pass forward to everybody that's listening tonight too. If you feel like you have a greater purpose in this world, if you feel like you're not happy in your working environment, you feel like your contributions are not fully acknowledged, and you feel like you have more to offer, listen to yourself. And that's where we're saying, like, hey, make sure that you're smart about it, though, at the same time. Plan for it, right? Make sure that you have the reserves, and then take that leap, and reach out to people in that industry. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you're starting out with the right team, the right company. For me, I was fortunate enough to start with RE/MAX day one, coming into real estate.
Me too.
And I'm very, very grateful for that. The RE/MAX network has completely changed my life.
Well, I'm very honored to know you, another elite RE/MAX agent. I want you to definitely send me your link, because I want to send it out to everybody that's going to be watching the show, so that they can also maybe come and book your Airbnb, because Cape Cod is definitely a place that everyone should have to go at least one time in their life. And I really appreciate you coming tonight onto the show, and I hope that everybody's out there has learned a little something from you about Boston and how real estate works there. And I know that we can have a totally different show another day talking about other kinds of investments, but thank you so much for coming tonight, and I look forward to talking to you again. So thank you everyone
so much for having me, Laura.
Yes, thank you. And thank you everyone for watching and listening to Making Money with Laura. Until next week, I'll see you guys then.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next week.
The opinion